Coming up today on Locked On at Texas Tech, the Red Raiders go Road Warriors. And as far as the Big 12 title race, are we still daring to dream?
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. And thanks as always for making us your first listen. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. So visit FanDuel.com to get started. With the only Chris Level, I'm Casey Cowan. Chris, great to be back with you. Kicking off the final week of the Red Raider regular season and looking ahead to the Duchendorf Cup, the battle for the soul of John Denver from Jones Stadium, 11 a.m. kick, and plenty of time this week to get to that matchup as you wrap up the regular season. But kick the week off regarding some things that are basically rooted in, I guess, a desire for chaos. And college football has given us plenty of that so far this season, but because of the win that you were able to get on the road, some things are still preserved. We'll get to in the league coming up in just a moment. Don't tell me to only dream little dreams. All right. I'm still thinking some big ones out there, but it's all made possible because of this success on the road from Stillwater this time around, which gives you a winning road record for the regular season. Kind of sounds like another box checked for Joey McGuire is trying to make progress. And like he's fond of saying, pushing the program forward.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the knocks coming into the year for sure. And I think you're going to, finish up the year, 3-1 in the Big 12 on the road. And you were, we're all going to look back on that TCU game. Every team amongst these, 7, 8, or 9 that are still in this thing, all are probably looking at one game or two going, or a play here or there going, oh, we were so close if you end up being left out. But the TCU game is one that'll because you're up 31-13, I guess it was, in that game on the road. But you won your other ones on the road, Ames, Tucson, and obviously Stillwater. And yes, you lost in Pullman without Taj Brooks, and that was not a good game, not a good way to start the road schedule on the year. But yeah, I think that's something that it was a thing. I mean, clearly, it was something that we touched on all off season. Could you go win on the road, and you didn't have as many road games and all those things, but you figured out a way to be pretty consistent there, and I think consistently good in getting result, if anything. And the other thing, Cowan, is that I think you've now put 3 straight Big 12 winning records together, seasons in a row. Okay, so even if you drop this one this week, you're still going to have a winning record in the Big 12 conference. And I think that wasn't or hasn't been done since maybe when Spike was – I don't think Mike ever did this. And, again, the league has changed several different times and all that stuff. But, anyway, I had to go back and look at the years. But, anyway, this just you're doing some things that just haven't – you're showing progress, I guess is the point. And you're starting to – put some things together on paper that it's like, okay, well, this is showing some signs of – consistency, stability. It's not where anybody wants it. It's not where Joey wants it. But again, it's a process, and you want to win this league and be in the college football playoff now that it's expanded and all those things. But it's been rough around here, and I think you're starting to maybe the worms turning a little bit.
Well, and another part of that, and we'll see how they finish this week. If they finish strong, it'll be another final month of the regular season where you can say you found some success. And they have not been without disappointment also. It's not like they've been perfect.
Right.
But they've been years under Coach McGuire where you felt like, at least I did, that you were making progress as the season went along. I don't know how to process that yet as it relates to this year's bigger picture, but can't deny the record in November. If you're able to get a win, won't be quite as fun to think about if you don't get a win against West Virginia, but you're on that path as well. So I don't know what it takes to win on the road consistently. Really good football players, great athletes, and great depth probably helps a lot. So, just continue to improve the roster, recruit very well, and that'll help some things on the road also. But there are obviously intangibles that come with that, where you kind of got to, I guess, relate it back to the culture as well whenever it comes to finding some road success, right?
Yeah, I think I think that you're starting to see some of your culture, and at some point, some of these young guys on your team are not going to be young anymore. You've got a nucleus that you've got some older guys that are making big plays, but there's so many still younger guys that you're just ready to see mature and grow up and all those things and be these playmakers, where you hope that there's more of them that are older and that they're all together and all those things. But yeah, I think they're seeing kind of what it takes, but it's just, and people, I think, just assume otherwise. And I get it. But it's hard to win football games. I mean, it just is. and we see examples of this across the country. I don't care how good your program is. I don't care what you've done before. I don't care how much you're paying your coach, how much your payroll on your team is. It's just hard to win football games. I mean, you've got so many of the blue bloods that week in and week out are like it's like head scratching a little bit. So this stuff is hard, and and when you achieve some of this and you have some progress, I mean, you ought to feel good about it, because there's plenty that aren't, because your team's not paid anywhere near what some of these programs out there in the world. If you're talking about payroll, your head coach isn't paid anywhere near what some of these folks are being paid and all those things. And so it's just hard to win, and it's hard to win in places like Stillwater, which you did, and you haven't been able to do very much at all. And they weren't just going to hand it to you, but I guess in a way that when you overcome that and you're in a way, maybe it feels, this is going to be a sick and twisted statement, but you almost feel like that one feels a lot better, and you sink your teeth into it more, as opposed to a 40-0 drubbing when they just would have no-showed, because they fought you. They pulled out their freshman quarterback. They're running trick plays. They're running their star Doak Walker award-winning running back for special QB packages in a whole series, pretty much. I mean, they're trying onside kicks. I mean, they were everything that they could come up with to try to beat you and try to send their kids out on the right note, and you just wouldn't allow it. You almost did, but you wouldn't allow it. And I enjoyed it. It was. I'll live a little less after having endured that day in Stillwater, but yeah, it was just fun to win. And how about some of these, like, here's some more big picture stuff for you. You have scored more points than anybody in the Big 12 Conference, more than anybody. You're 400 plus in points scored. Let me make sure that I'm and some of this is a bit skewed from certain games here or there, and I certainly understand it. I'm just trying to talk big picture. The closest ones to you, Colorado. Let's see here. Yeah, Colorado. They've scored. Well, Baylor and TCU. They've also scored. Not as many as you, but here's part of your problem. You've also given up more points than anybody in the Big 12, and Oklahoma State's defense is probably one of their worst in statistically in program history, and you've given up, I think, 30 to 40 more points on the season, more than Oklahoma State has. And you kind of wonder why you're here and why you're inconsistent, but it's just on the season, you've converted, I think it's like 48% of your third down conversions. You've had 7 games this year. This is an NCAA most when you've had a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver, the epitome of balance. And, but like defensively, and you had some injuries on Saturday. Your 2 starting defensive tackles did not finish the game. Harvey Dyson didn't play in this game. But it was just way too easy at times for Oklahoma State, who had, they were only rushing for 110 a game. And he had 121 yards himself, did Ollie Gordon, like I think early in the third or midway through the third. And so it's just because what do you think you're going to get this weekend with C.J. Donaldson and Garrett Green, who's got nearly 700 yards rushing as a quarterback, and Jaheim White. So anyway, but I just wanted to. So you just gotta try to shore that up, man. That's really, and I go back to what Joey said. If you wanna win championships, you gotta play better defense. And giving up the most points of anybody in the Big 12 just is not going to get you to a championship, in my opinion.
And because of the win on Saturday, some things still preserved, though needing much chaos to actually take place in the Big 12 Conference title race. Chris, are we daring to dream on Locked On Texas Tech that you could get funky enough in this league to find yourself back there? I don't know about that, but man, this weekend just gone by, a great example as to just how much chaos could potentially still be out there, man. Got wild in leagues all across the country. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle all the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And right now, new customers can bet only $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL and a whole lot more, all in one place. So when you get a hunch, a gut instinct in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a gut feeling again, and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. This weekend just gone by, a great example as to just how much chaos could potentially still be out there, man. Got wild in leagues all across the country.
Yeah, and I sent you that post-game video, and I kind of said, man, there's some results around the league and all that, and I had some people after they watched, they text me like, man, what are you crazy? Yeah, kind of crazy I am, but you are still in it, and you have to squint pretty hard to kind of see how this would work. I think I can simplify by saying the following. I think if these two things happen, and it's going to take a lot of results here. If these things happen, then you are in Arlington, because a lot of people are like, hey, man, Tech and Baylor could be playing in Arlington for the Big 12 championship game. And I'm like, like old Scooby-Doo. You have to beat West Virginia. Okay, that's a must. It's 11 a.m. kick, senior day for the Red Raiders on Saturday at home. Early kick. It's Thanksgiving weekend. You already worry about you have a lot of things working against you on the crowd. Neil Brown trying to fight for his job. He is literally coaching for his existence in Morgantown. They are 3-1 on the road this year in Big 12 games. So, classes are out for Thanksgiving. It's an early kick. All the things working against you. Okay, so there's that. You're going to have to figure out a way to be better than West Virginia on Saturday. Then I think if 3 of the 4, I think I'm right here. Don't hold me to this, but I think I'm right. And Calvin, I sent you the little graphic, but I think essentially it is between Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, and Colorado. You need 3 of those 4 teams to lose. If 3 of those 4 teams lose and you win, I think that punches your ticket. Am I right? Is that what it says?
I'm going to go with you being right.
Okay. Yeah. And Arizona State's got the rivalry game against Arizona. I think BYU hosts Houston. I can't remember. Colorado plays Oklahoma State in Boulder on Friday. So you may know some of this by the time you even kick. I'm not real sure. I can't remember who Iowa State. Iowa State plays Kansas State. So anyway, we'll see. I think I saw there's like a 4.3% chance for Texas Tech. It's like I think as you so eloquently stated last week, it was the Dumb and Dumber. Like, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, we're still in the Lloyd Christmas zone.
Yeah, we can believe. Yes, I am. Yes, I am telling you there's a chance. A 4.3% chance. Yeah. Yeah. But you got to beat West Virginia and all that. And as Joey pointed out to me after the game, he's like pointed out to his team, and you're beat up. I mean, there's no doubt. You are grinding through this thing. But He's like, one, I want to make sure these seniors leave this thing the right way. I mean, we owe it to guys like Tosh Brooks and some of the other folks. Like, you just want to send them out the right way. And then he pointed out, and he's like, plus, we owe our fans. Like, our fans have not seen us play very well in the last 2 games and not get a result in the last 2 games at home. I want to be better for them in the last one. So not just the seniors, but I want our fans and everybody, so – yeah, you're all pointing toward 8. It comes down to a really solid effort, hopefully at home versus the Mountaineers on Saturday morning, and we'll kind of see where it takes you. And you're just not totally out of it, but a lot needs to happen.
What have you made as to how the league race has kind of transpired over the last few weeks within the national picture? Because I mean, we've got Sun Devils to talk about now. Colorado takes another loss. Iowa State did what they did over the last couple of weeks. BYU now in the position that they're in. So it's been wildly entertaining. I don't know if it's been beneficial or harmful for the league, but
it's been harmful.
Wildly entertaining.
It's been harmful for sure. There's no doubt. The league has done exactly what we thought it would do. It's chewed everybody up. Everybody's eating on each other, and it's just a big giant mess. And nobody's great. I think you can be really proud of being a team that, for the most part, controlled the Sun Devils throughout, and they may end up, winning this league.
Yeah, winning 10 games.
That's right, and it's you may look at that and be frustrated by it, but I think again it's kind of something you can kind of check off and say you feel now you're going to have to go to Tempe next year with a lot of these same Sun Devils playing against you. But I think nationally, Cowan, it probably is not in the best spot. I think the SEC's beating up on each other. Indiana got trounced. Notre Dame starting to work. I mean, the reality is your conference champion. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility at all that you could be passed over for the 1 bye, and the group of 5, like a Boise State, could slip into that 4th seed, if you will, just because of the way that this is all working. So we'll see. If Arizona State were to beat Arizona and then win a non-fluky game in the conference championship game, I think they would be rewarded with the 4th seed and all those things. But yeah, there's no hope, in my opinion, of getting 2 teams in now. That's gone. And that was kind of the hope, I think, for the league. It's more money, it's more exposure, it's more, because I'll tell you what, remember the talk back in the summer whenever it's being floated that, okay, we're talking about expanding this thing to 14. We want to guarantee the SEC and the Big Ten 4 bids each, and the Big 12 and the ACC would get 2 bids each. And that was going to be guaranteed. And we kind of furrowed our brow, at that a bit now. But as you sit here right now, may not be a bad deal. I don't know. Because that's ultimately – because what's going to happen is I think both of those leagues may get 4 anyway, and you're only going to get 1. And you may be lucky to have that. I mean, that's just the way it's kind of looking. So anyway, just throwing that out there. People may disagree, and that's fine, but I'm just throwing that out there because I thought, man, how much fun would it be if 2 teams were guaranteed to be in? I don't think you'd ever have a chance really in most years to get a 3rd at large or anything like that. But if you're telling me 2 teams are in and you expand it just a titch from 12 to 14, I'd be totally okay with it.
Man, I can't wait for these playoffs. It's going to be such a fun postseason, just from a college football fan's perspective, and something the likes of which we've never seen before. So, and the impact it's had on the close of this regular season, I think has been what you hoped it would have. In that, I think there are more games and more places that have more meaning and keeping again fans entertained or engaged deeper into the season. So. It ain't gonna be perfect. It never is, and there's always going to be a point at which there's some heated disagreement, I'm sure. But I can't wait for this first go around. All right, let's make a hard left before we get out of here, Chris, because I got to get some round ball thoughts from you.
Okay.
It may seem like a distant memory now with all the emotion of a college football Saturday, but we haven't had a chance to get back together and talk Red Raider hoops since their Brooklyn excursion. First, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Never sweat buying tickets to your favorite event again with Gametime. It's always a breeze using the Gametime app where you're going to find the best last-minute deals, and I love being able to scout out a view from any seat before pulling the trigger. Of course, you're always doing it at the lowest price guaranteed. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it begins, which means you can finish off that final brat, that final beer at your own pace at the tailgate, because Gametime is the place to find last-minute seats to any event. Gametime gives you the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets, but not just fast, also secure and simple to use. So right now, download the Gametime app and create an account and use our promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today for last-minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed. We haven't had a chance to get back together and talk Red Raider hoops since their Brooklyn excursion. You go 1-1, so it was certainly not the result you were looking for as you hope to pick up 2 wins there. Took a loss against St. Joe's in game 1, and then you handle Syracuse in game 2. Anything standing out to you from what you saw in the Red Raiders' first trip away from the USA, and really what was their first anything that would resemble something like you might face in the Big 12 Conference?
Yeah, I think St. Joe's was good. I think you're probably gonna, kick yourself for just. I think Grant said it after the game. He's like, we just dug ourselves too big of a hole, and you just you work all the whole game to try to get it back, and you kind of finally take a lead, and you just couldn't quite stay over the hump, if you will. And I thought, man, if you're giving D5 that same look at the end of a game, I mean, he's going to make that, 6 or 7 or 8 out of 10 times. I think he was tired. I think he'd missed a few looks like that in the second half in traffic. But they shot the 3 ball way better than you did. And I thought, that was kind of the difference. And it made me a bit nervous. I think as you look at what your team is, hard to ask for more from JT Toppin in that. But I thought the Hawks that night, guarded the 3-point line well. I don't think you got any clean looks. I think they tried to say, hey, we've got some size. We're going to try to make you look small. We're going to try to bully you a little bit. We're going to try to make you beat us with making tough twos. Contested shots inside the arc, and you struggled there, but you didn't shoot the 3 ball well. And that was a bit of a concern because you struggled to score. And then by the time you finally kind of got it figured out, it was, I also thought it was interesting that Christian Anderson in the game, the last, I think 4 to 6 minutes, and not Elijah Hawkins. Was a bit interesting to me as you kind of start to see the way this thing works and kind of what their deal is. And then I was really concerned. I'm like, okay, so you just drop a heartbreaker to St. Joe's, and now you got to freaking play Syracuse, and it's going to be a road game. I'm like, please don't let the Red Raiders go up here and drop both of these. That's not what I would have envisioned. But yeah, you come back the next night and really take care of your business against. You really controlled that game throughout, and Syracuse isn't great, but they're still Syracuse, and it was a road environment for the most part. But I thought you played really, really well. And the fun thing about that one is JT Toppin doesn't really play that great, and yet you still take care of your business and win, because he was, geez, Calvin, let me think. He was, 5 of 16 from the field. Only had 6 rebounds. So he had he's at 15 and 6, but it was Monty, he was your second leading scorer, but inefficient, I guess would be the word there. But D5 certainly bounced back, and he certainly took care of his business. But it was fun to see them, bounce back and win. Not an easy place to play, and not an easy team to beat, especially based on the location of that game.
Yeah, I thought it was really – I like to see the rally in the game against St. Joe's, so that stood out to me. I hate that you came up short, but can't really ask for a better look. And you had some missed layups, some missed free throws that also could have made a difference. So That's the way it goes, and that's how you lose a basketball game. And you can't say that St. Joe's didn't earn it, man. They shot the lights out. It was freaking nuts to see a team that coming into it, what was 32%.
And that's what happens. And the kid is burying them all. The Monroe kid, we told you that, like when we were talking about this game last week, he's like shooting 24% on the season. And then, of course, he shows up and he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to make them all tonight. And he darn near did.
Yeah, he did. I'm curious to see how it translates back to the USA and into December shooting wise, because the Red Raiders didn't shoot it particularly well in either game, at least not compared to what we had seen previously. So, a result of being on the road, a step up in competition. Is there something there that was revealed? I don't know, but we'll get back to it and find out. You got another one from the USA coming up on Friday, and then you begin your December with DePaul and the Aggies. So a non-conference schedule is flying by, but did avoid the 0-2, so that's the worst case scenario. Hate to drop that tight one on Thursday, but glad they can bounce back as well to go 1-1 there in Brooklyn. So looking forward to the action coming up this week, Chris, and appreciate the time as always, man. We'll be back at it on the other side, so looking forward to it, and we'll see you then.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Obviously, we'll hear from Joey, McGuire about the state of the Red Raiders. And you're right. We got Friday basketball, Saturday football coming up. And we got Turkey Day, man. Turkey Day is upon us, folks. So getting closer for a little holiday and a little football and food and all that good stuff. So appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, stress test on the waistline week. Settle up, partners. Okay, appreciate you being out there, especially those everydayers who are always riding with us. Make sure you get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks for the time, and we hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.